So welcome everyone, and hopefully a lot of your family and friends who are watching via the live stream. So welcome to all of you as well. It's always a bittersweet but spectacular event to have people graduate and finish their internships, finish their R3 years, and I think it's the venue is not as spectacular as we usually do. The food certainly is not the same, but the honor that we view all you residents with is just as spectacular. So thank you for all you've done for the year. Also, in terms of thank yous, thank you to the Board of Directors and Administration for their continued robust support of the residency, particularly Mr. Ron Wirth, the CEO, and Dr. Ed Robleski, former voluntary faculty member who's the Chief Medical Officer. Thank you to the voluntary faculty who play a large part in making the program successful, to the nurses, pharmacists, therapists, nutrition staff, and all the other folks at Cottage Health System who walk side by side with you residents every day. To Pat and Kim, who make all things possible, and Julie Robinson, who make sure we are in compliance with all the regulatory agencies and can continue having a residency program. Extra thank yous this year to marketing and event planning staff and the hospitality departments who organized our unique setting for this graduation and made sure that everything goes smoothly, or at least it's early on. I hope it goes smoothly. And most importantly, to all the family members, friends, partners who've been incredibly supportive during this taxing year, especially the last 3 months. Thank you very much. Could you guys give a hand? I'm not sure if they can see it, but give a hand to your partners and families. Mr. Wirth and Dr. Robleski decided that rather than take up space on the patio since we're crowded in, that they would write a letter to the prelims who are departing. For the categorical R1s, you guys need to hang out for another 2 years before you get a similar letter. But I'm going to read the letter, and there's a personalized copy for each of you from Mr. Wirth and Dr. Robleski that you'll get with your certificate. The letter goes, on behalf of Cottage Health, we want to congratulate you on your year 1 residency completion. This is a remarkable accomplishment. We are grateful for your contributions to our hospitals and our community. You've made a difference for many individuals and families as you have provided superior health care in your year here. We know that opportunities await you as you embark on the next phase of your medical education and training, and we can say with certainty that the colleagues and community who welcome you next are very fortunate indeed. It has been our great honor that you chose to spend this part of residency at Cottage Health. We're excited to watch your careers ahead. In the future, know that when we hear about your endeavors, we will smile and remember with pride that we were part of each other's journeys. We sincerely hope that our paths may cross again. Kind regards, Ron Wirth, President and CEO, Edmund Robleski, MD, Vice President, Medical Affairs, and Chief Medical Officer. As I said, hopefully that's some motivation for the rest of you to hang out for 2 more years and be acknowledged similarly when you graduate. So as it's hard for me to do this. I'm just so distracted by Dr. Jose's calves sitting back there. So, as I reflect upon this year, a song lyric kept repeatedly coming to my mind. I'll pause for a second to allow each of you to come up with your own song lyric, and then fortunately for you, I'm not going to sing mine, I'll just tell you what it is. So I think mine was stirred by the discussion we had yesterday about systemic racism and what we can do. And it took me back a while to the Grateful Dead from the song Truckin', where it goes, "Lately it occurs to me what a long, strange trip it's been." So who would have thought that you'd be spending the last 3 months of your internship Zooming to conferences, wearing more PPE than you thought possible, using your elbows and noses to push elevator buttons and open door handles, and worrying if you had the slightest tickle in your throat. As I reflected, though, two things really struck me. One is how wonderfully well each of you has done this year in progressing from a relative novice to a confident and competent physician. And secondly, how you really came together as a group to support and watch out for each other. Now, having almost completed the first leg of your journey to excellence that we call graduate medical education, on behalf of the entire faculty, we thank you for allowing us and trusting us to accompany you along the way. It's a true honor for all of us to be able to do so. We very much applaud your efforts and accomplishments, as well as your incredible spirits. Not only have you put your hearts, your brains, and your souls into caring for our most disadvantaged and vulnerable community members, but you've also put your hearts and souls into caring for each other. And I must say, in addition to that, I was really struck when I remember asking a bunch of you if you were worried about getting COVID, and almost to a person you said, no, we're worried about the elderly faculty, and I include myself in that. There's three of us who, were at significant risk. And just that response really kind of warmed my heart and I must say made me most appreciative. So we wish you all the best as you continue on to your next challenge, whether it be in a different venue or continuing here as a second-year resident. And since this celebration is so low-key compared to our usual upscale dinner ceremony, I was trying to think of an appropriate gift or memento for each of you. I first thought of the new Cottage Health tie-dye Grateful Dead t-shirt, but I couldn't get enough of them. So then I thought long and hard before I realized that we've already given you the best gift possible, the start of lifelong friendships with the cohort sitting here with you today and every day for the past year. So really what I'd like to do for each of you are to look around and give each other a hand. That all being said, what I'd like to do now is have each of the R1s here come up and get a certificate and acknowledgement. The way that we plan this to keep socially distanced, you'll see kind of an area over here to stand. I did this in no particular order, except that I thought I would have the prelims come up first. I'm going to start with Ben West. So perfect. I promised. Ben West is moving up to UC Davis in Sacramento to engage in an ophthalmology residency. And speaking of long, strange trips, Ben started out in Tucson, went to Boise, down to Santa Barbara to go to Westmont, Loma Linda, back to Santa Barbara, now on to Sacramento. And he's only like 17 years old. Ben lights up every room he enters and finds joy in everything he does. He's thoughtful and appropriately serious when the circumstances call for it, gracious, unflappable, and quite an astute clinician. It's really been a pleasure having him here for the year, and we wish him all the best. Thank Yep. Erica Lee hopefully is watching from Hawaii, where she's taking her last opportunity to visit family before heading on to a Durham Research Fellowship at the University of Nebraska. Born in Hawaii, Erica came to the mainland for college at USC, returned to Hawaii for medical school, and back to Santa Barbara for internship, and now she's on to Omaha. And it's no wonder she wanted to get her last shot at the sun in Hawaii before she moved to Nebraska. Erica is quiet but grows on you in a very positive way. She's entirely conscientious and dependable, has a strong voice when she needs to, and cares deeply about doing an excellent job, and we'll miss her. Thank you, Erica. Selena. Selena Ge. She was born in Beijing, raised in Maryland, where she received all her schooling for her internship, and is now returning to University of Maryland for a Durham residency. Selena loves a challenge. The part of the challenge, the better she's pleased with it. Really, who would have thought that someone going to Durham would love the ICU and do an incredible job there? While Selena tries to portray a tough persona, as you get to know her and see her with the patients, it's obvious that she's really a softie inside. So thank you, Selena. Brett. Brett Morris has had a pretty straightforward, some might say sheltered Midwestern journey. He's headed back to Wisconsin for residency in radiation oncology before embarking on an academic career, and perhaps when he gets tired of that, returning to practice in Santa Barbara. Brett has been a foundational piece of this intern class. He embodies wonderful academics and a kind soul. He's conscientious, clinically astute, dedicated, supportive, and wise. We'll see if he's wise enough to find his way back here in the years to come. It's been a pleasure. Okay. So Phillip Wan is the first categorical that I wanted to mention. He's away taking part 3 of the USMLE exam, which was planned a long time ago, and he couldn't get a change. And his being away, I guess it makes it okay to embarrass him a little bit. I seem to recall that Phillip is a devotee of online strategy games. This skill is clearly reflected in his approach to patient care and also in his responses at Morning Report. He's organized, efficient, and focused, and has used those traits to develop into an excellent resident. He works hard and laughs hard, an enviable combination. We're looking forward to his continued presence over the next couple of years. Gretel. I noticed that Gretel is wearing a very clean starched white coat that I haven't seen since the first day of internship. Gretel D'Souza has had a wonderful year layering clinical skills and reasoning upon a foundation of empathy and caring. She is humble, thoughtful, and extremely conscientious, all of which portend an excellent career as an internist. We really look forward to watching her continued development as a clinician and working with her for the next 2 years. Thank you, Gretel. Roxana. I was afraid of that. You can stand over there if you want. You can get out of the gravel.
I'm okay.
Okay. Roxana Artabili is a quietly confident resident who takes advantage of every learning opportunity. This approach is reflected in her significant growth as a clinician over the past year. It seems that any time someone on the faculty suggests to her some test or therapy that might be done, she's already ordered it and often already has the results. She has a great future, and we're looking forward to her being one of the leaders in the program in the years to come. Thank you, Roxana. So has Pej arrived? Okay. Pej was on call last night and was questionable whether he could make it in the middle of the day. Pej Corbachet is, and I kept practicing pronouncing his name just for this occasion. He's an unflappable individual whose mind is completely at work constantly to figure out the best ways to solve dilemmas and to treat patients. He is committed to his patients and his colleagues and is not reluctant to allow a subtle smile to appear, kind of like saying, "Don't worry, everything's under control." I have a feeling it's going to be a real pleasure to watch Pej over the next 2 years. We're happy he's returning. Same thing for Sarah Ettinger, who's also on call last night. Sarah brings compassion, an excellent knowledge base, and a quiet confidence to her work. She has truly developed the presence of a physician, though she is humble enough to deny it. With increasing frequency, Sarah is also sharing her subtle sense of humor and valuable clinical insights. I'm also told by a reliable source, and I wish Sarah was here to hear this, I'm also told by a reliable source that Sarah has started to compile a book of pithy clinical sayings entitled Bookspanisms. Thanks, Sam. Liz. Liz Pandiyan is another thoughtful and empathetic individual who is conscientious and dedicated in her work. She not only has developed a strong clinical knowledge base, but also has found her voice and presence as a physician and seems to be aware of absolutely everything happening around her. Liz's excellent clinical skills should become even more refined over the next 2 years. It's going to be a pleasure to watch and be supportive of her continued growth. Thank you. Amy? Yeah. Can just come over this way. Amy Mckenney came to us after changing her plan to go into obstetrics and gynecology, and we're extremely lucky and fortunate that she wound up here. Amy is another one of our conscientious and concerned residents who prides herself on providing excellent patient care. At the same time, she's building a solid foundation of medical knowledge and clinical judgment that will serve her well as she pursues a career as a primary care women's health specialist. We're looking forward to sharing her journey over the next 2 years. Kat? Catherine Oren. Kat has great energy for life and is totally engaged in both clinical care and the academic process. She is becoming an astute clinician, has immersed herself in infectious disease research, and is incredibly empathetic with her patients. However, perhaps the greatest compliment I can offer of Kat is the observation from Dr. Fitzgibbons, and I quote Dr. Fitzgibbons, "I'm afraid Kat's becoming a mini-me." And that really is a compliment, and time will tell. I think that's it. Oh, Andrew. Andrew Bishop reminds me of the fisherman he once was, calm, collected, logical, patient, and thoughtful. All that he's missing, in fact, are a rowboat and a fuller beard. Andrew's another resident who quickly found his comfort zone in the clinical arena, knows how to relate to patients, and has established himself as an excellent senior resident to be. Happily, he's not telling any stories of the big one that got away, but we'll look forward to hearing some over the next couple of years. And we're pleased that he's going to be with us for those 2 years. Thank you. I want to say a word about the Davidson Awards. You all kind of familiar with the plaques we have in the classroom. Bill Davidson was a gastroenterologist who was raised in Santa Barbara, returned here in 1962 to practice. He was one of the strong supporters, along with the Tylers and Larry Smith and a few others, of the establishment of this internal medicine residency in 1977. And most importantly, he was a true gentleman and a scholar. He loved to teach residents, see county patients, was most gracious in all his interactions. Doctors Bookspan, Jose, and I have talked about this when we all first came to town. He was one of the first people to welcome each of us individually. He went on to become the first director of medical affairs at Cottage in 1985, and actually was my first boss here when I became the program director in 1989. As Bill was suffering from severe Parkinson's disease, he and his wife Carol approached Cottage about establishing some type of fund to assist senior residents with academic pursuits. Bill passed in 2015, and Carol continued the discussion, and as a result, we have 3 Bill Davidson Memorial Awards. In addition to the 2 awards for seniors that we started, we've developed an award for the intern with the best spirit over the year. Senior residents voted on this. We don't define what spirit is. It's kind of one of those things where you know it when you see it. And Dr. Fitzgibbons is going to present that award.
Thanks, Dr. Gersoff, and thank you to all of you. It kind of hit me as we're sitting out here that, it has been a long, strange trip. I think it's bittersweet. I feel like I had some missed time with you all, but in many ways I know that I'm never going to forget this spring with every single one of you. Literally, as I look at your eyes, I mean every single one of you. I'm so sorry I'm speaking to you through this, but I so thank you for everything that you have done, every single thing. With that, I will go on to present the Intern Best Spirit Award, and I'm doing it new school, off my phone. So I saw a headline this week, and it said, will the real doctor please stand up? And it was about internship, and it was this idea that, man, it's really hard to be an intern. So much of your intern year is spent finding a balance between the self-doubt and fear of doing wrong, but concurrently trying to persuade those in your charge, your patients, that you're a real doctor, and you're really the one responsible for their care. I guess it's a balance between persuading the patients that you're worthy of their trust, but also persuading yourself that you're capable of owning that trust and the responsibility for the health of another human being, or in this case, hundreds of other human beings. This is hard. This is really hard. And so I think it made sense as I thought this through and wrote this out that the recipient of the Intern Spirit Award this year is someone who really embraces this balance. And this person, he gracefully, consistently approaches each case with a really remarkable humility. And he combines this remarkable humility with the confidence needed to really connect with his patients and to, from the beginning, earn their trust. As I do my attending rounds later in the morning or in the early afternoon, and I come by the patients under the care of Dr. Brett Morris, none of them have any doubt that Dr. Morris is their physician. He has been more than a pleasure to work with from the faculty perspective. He is truly one of a kind. It's wonderful to know that it's not just us who feel that way, but his peers, his senior residents, voting him best intern spirit this year. And I just wanted to say personal thank you to Dr. Morris for everything that he has brought to our program, to me, to our patients, and we hope that Santa Barbara is in your future. Congratulations. And I'm not going to shake your hand, but I'm going to hand this off and let Gwen see it.
So dessert's going to be served at Dr. Bishop's house. No, I'm just kidding. So thank you all for coming. It's really been a spectacular year, despite all the hurdles we faced and the challenges that were inherent in what we do. And we very much appreciate all of you. Thank you very much.
Are we all done?
We're done with this part, and then we're starting in at 3.
Perfect.
Thank you.